Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Fight Mania, where you are live with Arjun, aka Mystic Chips, and your very own Somesh, the superhuman camera. We have yet another exciting episodes from the IVM studios, speaking a lot of combat, the heavyweight fights that are coming up before UFC 275, the Chechen leader who was sparring with Kamza Chimaev, Paula Costa elbowing a nurse, and a lot more. After this short commercial break, we'll see you on the other side.
Hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On This Round is on me, food writer Sonal Ved shares valuable advice for budding food writers with G.O.A.T. On Naan Curry, Sadaf and Archit do a rundown of India's most popular biscuit, Parle Ji. On Misconduct, Ragvi and Nisha introduce us to Kamlavali Arumagam, the woman responsible for the Pazi fraud. On The Longest Constitution, Priya explores the journey of free speech in India. And on Audio Gyan, Kedar talks about game design with the director of design at Zynga, Purnima Sitaraman. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcast has launched merchandise and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcast website and click on the shop tab and check out the first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media as well. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, wherever you do that, that is really helpful for us. And do remember, you can also check a lot of our shows out on YouTube. If you go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, you get a list of all of our channels. We're also doing a small listener survey, so please do help us out with that. If you go to ivmpodcast.com/survey, it'll help us understand a little bit more about our listeners. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance, Jupiter, a digital banking app, and Capgemini. Get the future you want. Thank you so much. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible.
Mystic Chips, how wonderful is it to have IVM merchandise, which is now available on ivmpodcast.com/shop. And also the
honestly,
survey, which is so cool.
I saw it. I was in the studio last week and we were doing our
Yes.
inaugural episode of Fight Mania.
Yes.
A lot of guys don't know still that Fight Mania, formerly known as the Fighting G.O.A.T, has been rebranded and we're back. Sorry guys, I could not make it to the studio today due to personal issues, but I'm absolutely fine. Kuch bimar kuch nahi hai. So it's absolutely fine. It's not like I got hurt sparring a Russian dictator, a Chechen dictator. When we were discussing the flow of the show today, we were just looking at we always love to cover, we used to do a segment called the MMA week that was, and
Yes.
we're just calling it the news of the week now. And
Yes.
and we cover all kinds of news, whether it's Conor McGregor partying on his yacht to Canelo Alvarez dancing and playing golf for a $1 million celebrity charity event. Or
Right.
if we see one of the biggest killers in the UFC, Kamza Chimaev, who just got off a huge win against number 3 contender in the welterweight division, Gilbert Burns, was
Yes.
caught sparring in one of those one of those gyms in Chechnya or in Russia or
Yeah.
Dagestan, where I don't know, location undisclosed, because clearly Russian dictators, they don't exactly walk around with Google Maps on.
Well, after saying all of that, the first sponsor that we said was SBI Life Insurance. जिंदगी के साथ भी, जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Zindagi ke baad bhi. No wonder you saw the way. Dude, the internet went crazy because people are saying now the internet is. I saw a GIF being made or a meme made saying that Rustam Kadyrov is now number 1 pound for pound above John Jones and everybody.
Why? Because he defended 2 takedowns.
No, because dude, Kamzat couldn't get out from under him. No, I mean,
Yeah,
I've not seen that
see-
kind of top pressure, dude.
See, but the good part is what, when we see leaders of nations, like even Vladimir Putin, who's a judo master, who actually goes to these schools and eventually teaches the kids as to this is how you sweep, this is how you roll, this is how you hold. Isn't that a positive thing? That the leader of the nation is a fitness enthusiast. He's hanging
like
with
the
the top athletes, and at the
I like
same
the
time,
fitness
he's
part.
kind of and at the same time, he's kind of spreading the entire gyan of sport, which I think is a very positive thing. Yes, in today's age, content is king, and everybody has to be recorded and put on the internet for some kind of coverage. But I feel in the heart of it, it's a very, very positive gesture. That it's like it's like
It
it's like
is.
it's like
It's
Modi
fun.
sparring with Vijender Singh.
Yeah, but that's the thing now. If Modi comes out to the cricket field to play with Kohli, I
Oh,
can guarantee you Kohli is out on the first ball. There is no way Kohli is hitting Narendra Modi for six. No way.
absolutely,
If he wants to
absolutely.
live, that is.
Yeah, no, I mean, not really, but I just think as a sporting culture, it's a very positive gesture. But what was not very sporting in nature was Paula Costa elbowing the
Dude,
nurse
that is
af-
just, I don't know
af-
what to say.
after
I
his
don't know.
vaccination.
No, he didn't even get the vaccination.
No, he got the
He was
vaccine, right?
No, he was on the way to get the vaccination. There was some discrepancy in the form filling or something was not ready, and therefore he elbowed the nurse.
Are you serious? Was there too much wine in his body again?
I was just about to say, like I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's got a big fight against Luke Rockhold coming up, and even worse now, he's now been arrested for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just breaking. I read it in the afternoon today that he's been the police have detained him, not arrested, but the
They've kind of
police
taken
have
him
been
in
notified.
and, yeah, so he's not going to make
Yeah.
weight again, basically.
No, basically, no, I don't know how he's, dude. If we're talking about how he's going to make weight is a good question, man. I
Right,
think,
right.
uh, I think
Yeah, because his
Paulo
weight
is
cut
big
starts
enough.
his weight cut starts 3 months prior, no?
Yeah, has to because it's a full lifestyle change, no? Because, dude, if you notice you saw the difference between him and Romero in their fight.
Yeah,
Romero is even though he's a very big, he's shredded, but he's not
yeah.
very big. He's not very big, like in
Huh,
size.
I mean, I think
He's
he's you know
big,
he's
but
he's not very tall, but he's quite
correct. He's
thick
not tall.
as
He's broad,
yeah,
broad.
yeah.
But if you
And
look at Costa, Costa
that's why
is
in Bellator,
huge.
in Bellator he fights in 205 primarily because he could never make 185. Never.
Correct. Correct, because and also once you grow older with age, it's harder and harder to cut weight. It
But
just gets harder.
Romero is 21, no? I mean, because he goes back in
No,
age,
Romero
right?
is only 20 years old yet. He's just a
Acha.
young lad who's been fighting for 35 years, even though at the age of 20.
Acha, so he's a Shahid Afridi of MMA.
Yeah, he never ages, ever. Ever, ever.
Yeah,
Just doesn't. I don't know, those
he's so
genes,
good.
man.
He's
Somebody
so
should take, screw all these anti-aging ads. We should just take an injection or whatever, whatever is in Romero's
Zen.
system.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. But
Fighting, chhod do.
what is there in one fighter system is the fact that Aljamain Sterling is considering to move up a division to featherweight division.
Dude, I told you. It's he's making way for his teammate. I forgot his name now. I think it was because of Merab Valishvili. Okay,
Yeah.
Merab
Oh,
Valishvili
yes.
is in that division, and he's trying to make way up. But
Right.
there are also reports of, I don't know what is happening with Aljamain Sterling. I think he's having trouble making that weight as well.
Like 135?
Yeah. So
Oh, wow.
and so he,
Wow.
I think
Wow.
he wants to. It's all speculation right now. Sometimes when people say, "Oh, I'm making way for my room, my teammate," is
Right.
also a
That's
good way of saying that. Listen, it sucks cutting the weight. I'm the
right.
champ. I've defended the belt. I think it's time I move up.
Right. Right. Right.
But what do
But
you
I mean,
think about contenders wise for Aljamain at featherweight?
oh wow. I mean, I mean, if someone had to put him up straight versus someone, I mean, I would definitely love to see maybe Aljamain versus Barboza to begin with.
Oof,
That's a
that's
that's
a
a because Barboza has come down from lightweight. He's kind of on a losing streak on
yeah.
in the featherweight division. I think it would be great if Aljamain can take that fight, and if somehow he can win that fight, he's legend. He's going to be
Dude,
considered as legend.
Aljamain versus Giga Chikadze.
Oh, that's going to be too tough because Giga is really too big,
Actually,
for
it's
Aljamain.
actually the grappling will be bad for Giga.
If he can take him down. But what I would suggest is if the listeners currently want to get into the conversation, they can join in.
Yes.
Hashtag Fight Mania. Speak to us and tell us who you think can go against Aljamain Sterling if he's moving up one weight category into the featherweight division. We would love to hear from you as well as speak to you. So please join into the conversation, talk to Mystic Chips and Superhuman Kamra, and we would be delighted to have this
Absolutely.
conversation.
Sumesh, I got to ask the question by somebody for the 100 millionth, 500,000 billionth time.
Yeah,
Um, it's about Conor McGregor, but you can't avoid the guy. He's too big for the sport.
right,
Um,
right.
there are finally rumors settling down that Connor and Chandler might be a real thing. And I got asked a question saying that, it's a very good question, which is why I love fans now, because they started to get a little technical. They're
Yes,
like, they're like, do you think that Chandler is, has a sports a chin every time he goes out? Like every time he fights, he gets dropped, he gets hurt.
yeah,
And guys like Connor, they can punch. Connor can
yeah,
hurt you badly.
yeah.
You're not easy. It's not an easy fight. You're not walking in against a volume puncher. You're in there against a precision one shot power guy.
Yes.
I think so. He was telling me, so he's like, do you guys think that it's a wise move, or is it Chandler's one fight and retire policy?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, if you remember the name of somebody who has asked this question, we would love to mention the somebody. But it's such a valid question because, see, we should understand that Michael Chandler is a wrestler that likes to strike. So if
Yeah.
by chance Connor tags him, he always has that opportunity to go for the takedowns and recover in those 30, 40 seconds. Of course, I
Hmm.
do understand that Connor does have that one punch knockout that could put you to sleep, but Chandler has shown that he has hung with Justin Gaethje, he's hung with like Poirier and all these guys, and he has really gone past their power. Of course, yes, he has lost the fight, but he has hung in there and he's gone past their power. If Chandler is ever in a position against Connor where he's hit, and if he survives, he always has that option to go to the ground and continue his game. And maybe he'll find some success down there. Maybe he'll find
Yeah.
success. And uh, I
I
personally
think
think
he's
Connor has not fought someone that brings out the heat in that manner because he has the power, he has the explosiveness, he has the speed, and he brings the heat. Like how Justin Gaethje doesn't bring the heat. He has the power, he has all the tools to knock anybody out, but he doesn't bring the heat. Michael Chandler brings the heat.
no, but that's it. See, that's the thing. But when you're an aggressive forward puncher,
Yeah,
forward striker, you
yeah.
fall into the hands of a good counter striker. Anderson
But he's
Silva was a master at this.
but
He
he's
would
also smart.
force
Chandler is very
Chandler's,
very smart.
but Chandler's got fight IQ, but he's also an entertainer. So he will not change levels and look to make this, let me save myself kind of thing. There are
Yeah.
guys who will be like, okay, I don't want to name who or what camp, but you know what I'm talking about. There are guys who will take one slight punch or one shot and they will just change levels and hold the person for the rest of the round.
Hmm.
So that is not Chandler's walking in strategy. It's not. It's just not the kind of guy he is. And
Absolutely.
when you're in the main event of a Las Vegas event, and there's $1 million, $2-3 million on the line. Your wallet is going to be packed. If you put on a show, the fight bonuses are going to be huge. I doubt. I doubt he stands. I doubt he takes Connor down. I think he stands with Connor and he makes it a war. Let the best man fall. I
But
think that's
I
I think
truly,
that's how it's going to be.
on a personal level, I believe it's a very good matchup. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fireworks, and
Dude, it's going to break the bank.
I feel Michael Chandler has the tools to beat Connor because yes, Connor has that little front kick that he has to the midsection. He has his left
Yeah.
hand, but Chandler
And
has a
his
left
right.
hook.
He's
He
got a
has a
great
left hook.
leaping right hook, man. He's got a great right uppercut. He's got which he uses to set up that left hand. He's
Yeah,
taller. He's rangier. Even though that doesn't make a difference to Chandler, but it's the thing is that it's Connor can take a shot too,
he
and
can. So it's an absolute 50-50. It's an even going in. I think the fans will win and the UFC
dude,
definitely
we
will
will
rope in the
win.
box because it's
Can you
gonna
imagine?
it's gonna be the
Can you
co-main
imagine?
event of any evening.
Dude, if it's Connor doesn't do co-main, man. No, Connor doesn't do co-main anymore. He's going to want
Well,
to do main event. But slightly on that same line, you're talking about main events, etc., and co-main events. Luke Rockhold was
yeah,
found in preparation for his
right,
upcoming fight with Paulo Costa. Fingers crossed, Paulo. You elbowed a nurse, but I'm waiting for you to elbow somebody else
right.
legally inside a cage. Please stop elbowing people outside. All you guys, man, stop elbowing and kicking and hurting people outside. You guys are paid fighters. Go do it in the cage.
Mm.
Coming back to this thing. Did you see Khabib's size wrestling
Well,
with Luke Rockhold?
Khabib. I mean, I was shocked. He's probably walking in at. I mean, he's walking around at 210,
How
215.
much is How much is Luke Rockhold? Luke Rockhold is easily 220.
Yeah, as in he will be in that 210, 215 bracket because he cuts to
Correct.
185. So that's still a cool
Correct.
30 pounds.
Yeah, that's still a cool 30 pounds. And Khabib, I know he's retired, but
Yeah.
how the F did that man make 155?
Well, because he's to dehydrate himself to galaxy to even make that weight, you know?
Now, I mean, there's dehydration and there's Anthony Johnson dehydration, which is
Right.
from cutting from 240 to 170.
Well, that was,
Is
I mean,
Anthony
that was death, to be honest. That was death, and
That was
precisely why he
stupidity.
is, precisely why he is where he is. And, he's nowhere to be seen on the bigger circuit at the moment because, I mean, it's just too difficult. It takes a toll on you mentally, physically, and
Dude,
all the
he's
other
gone.
aspects,
Dude, he's
and
got
honestly,
he's
fighters don't
completely
even
messed
see
up.
this. Like fighters don't see that it's not just about the weight, but it's about longevity,
Correct. Exactly.
and
You
and
gotta
you
have a
look at
long
people.
career.
Absolutely. I mean, like GSP, Uriah Faber, they really didn't cut that much weight. PJ Penn, and they
BJ
had
Penn
beautiful
came in.
careers.
BJ Penn used to weigh under. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember for his fight against GSP was 169.
Right. Right.
And
You know,
GSP was easily 185, 190
easily,
on fight night.
easily.
Easily. Weight difference was huge. But luckily, due to the IV ban, and so there's no like on spot rehydration anymore. So
Right.
the IV ban has led to a lot of good changes, you'll
Right.
have a lot of guys who are not abusing the system anymore. So, but still, there are guys. It's again, it's shocking. It's like even seeing Islam Makachev. I saw him do
Right.
an interview for another one of his fighters in Bellator, and dude, the guy looked like a legit 185 pounder.
Dude, Islam Makachev is so huge. Again, I don't know how he makes 185. I just fail to understand.
They need to share the diet with me because clearly I need to make 185 soon.
Oh
But
man. Oh
coming
man.
back to talking about a lot of new things that's coming, guys. Please go ahead and watch the Ultimate Fighter season 30. It's got Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunez as coaches. As we know, Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunez fought for the flyweight strap. Sorry, was it strawweight or
Bantamweight.
flyweight?
Bantamweight.
Bantamweight. So sorry, my
Yeah.
mistake, guys. My mistake. That's the strawweight champion and the flyweight champion. No, please don't come kill me. Though
Yeah.
the flyweight belt is on the line next weekend.
It
Um,
is.
yes, Valentina. But anyway, coming back to Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunez. If you don't know, go and Google the shocker that it was. Amanda Nunez was one of the most dominant female champions since Ronda Rousey,
Yes.
and she got finished by the Venezuelan vixen, Juliana
Yes.
Pena.
Yes,
Uh,
she did. And in fact, the good part is they are coaching the Ultimate Fighter season 30, and they are going to be fighting at the end of it. It's live on Sony 10.2 slash Sony 10.3, if I'm not mistaken. And it's
I think
going to be
Sony 10 2
firework.
only. It is, and
However,
the trash talk has already begun. So
the trash talk of not having trash talk has begun. Where
correct.
Amanda Nunes said, "Listen, you aren't talking to me. Like, what's wrong?
Correct.
Trash talk. Come on."
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Talk to me in my face. Say what you want to say. Say to my face. And I'm loving. I think we're going to see a different Amanda Nunes. She's got that fire back in her eyes. She's
But you know
looking
what
different.
happens in such situations? It's to show that I'm not scared. And in case Pena beats her again, it's over. That's the end of Amanda
Yeah.
Nunes. And also, she's left American Top Team. She's on herself. I mean, she's by herself with her own set of trainers and the camp and all of that. So it's going to be very interesting. I think the viewers cannot miss this one because
Oh
TUF 30,
man.
the Ultimate Fighter 30, is on air and you cannot miss it. It's fireworks.
Absolutely. Just before we wrap up this segment, I just want to have. There was a great article by
Yeah.
a writer called Alshati who was talking about. Somesh is also, guys, if you don't know, Somesh Kamra runs a gym in Manipal. It's called Superhuman, where he's training a lot of fighters. Trained India's first UFC athlete who went to the
Yes.
UFC, Bharat Kandare, and also is instrumental in sending two Indian fighters for the road to UFC tournament
Yes.
in Singapore. So, Kalia Bendi. मेरे को नहीं लेके गया. Why did you not nominate me as the fighter?
Well, because see, there has to be like a
Stop,
sexy
stop,
quotient
stop.
also.
Anybody who knows me.
There's a sexy quotient, and you break the barriers, so we cannot take, we can't take such good-looking people.
Oh, ठीक है, चलो. It's good it's dark today, otherwise this would have been fully outshone.
Well, there's someone who's called the Heart of Darkness.
We are not doing crossovers with the Undertaker, man. But speaking of darkness, there was a great article written about training, and
Okay.
one segment of fighting within the entire sport that is not given a lot of attention are the guys who hold pads for fighters, because guys
Oh
who hold
my
pads
God.
are some of the most important people. There are fighters who will fly down their padmen from wherever in
Yes.
the world, because when you have a motion of striking, there are
Yeah.
very few pad guys who know how you move. So they
Yes.
know
Yes.
they literally emulate inches away from your face to emulate a real fight. So
Yes.
that's how they
Yes.
develop that accuracy as well. So guys like I can imagine, I think Extreme Couture, Nick Sick, who is
Right.
the coach for Francis Ngannou,
Yeah.
said that it is one of the most. He's like, there have been moments where I felt like I've broken my face, my ribs have been gone. The kicks of Francis. I mean, you've held pads for guys. How grueling is that entire job, man?
That is such a good point that you mentioned, because it's something which I have not told anybody, and they will hear it right now on the Fight Mania. Is that when we were in Shanghai, and it was Bharat's first fight in the UFC, the first Indian to ever get into the UFC,
Right.
and I was holding pads for him. We also have this chest guard that kind of protects the
Yeah,
rib,
body.
and
Uh-huh.
so uh, the chest guard had kind of moved, because there's like a lot of movement happening and all of that. The chest guard just moved a little bit, and Bharat clinched me and he gave me a knee,
Huh.
and it missed the chest guard and went straight to my ribs.
Oh shit! So
And
it cut through the
and
padding.
yeah, so it didn't really cut through, because the
Went
pad had
around.
shifted.
Huh,
You know,
correct.
it just kind of hit straight here. And I felt this shocking pain for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh my God. And I kind of sat down, and he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. Don't worry. I'm not kidding. For a month, I could not sleep on my left. For a month.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I mean, I
It
don't
was
really
so
help pad.
painful. I could not laugh. I could
Oh
not
yeah.
cough. I could not
Yeah.
sleep on my left side, and it felt that my rib had cracked. And I'm not
I
kidding. I felt my rib had cracked.
I remember I was I've never done, I've never coached or anything. I've just held pads for
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
with some of
Yeah.
the fighters. I remember one of these Dutch Muay Thai guys who had
Yeah.
come down to train the team here. I was just fooling around with them, and in the morning they're like, "Hey, just hold pads." That first smack that you get on your hands, if
Yeah.
you don't keep your hands steady, you pop. It's a smack across, and I
Oh my
missed. He missed, and he went under my elbow, and he hit
Right.
me right here, my back, on the side of my back. Luckily, it didn't hit the ribs. Went a little
Right.
higher,
Right.
but that was bruised for a month. Yeah, it's like a
Oh
baseball
my
bat hitting you.
Oh my
Oh
God,
my
that's crazy.
god!
But what's going to happen is we're going to be taking a short break here and
Yes.
continuing the conversation, where you will see Mystic Chips and Superhuman Kamra doing a face off in this advertisement. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome
Mr.
back,
Chip.
guys. We are
I was-
back. Arre,
I
कौन
was at
चालू
your
कर रहा
eye
है?
level. I was at your eye level there. I was at your eye level. Even though
You
you're
are- no.
even though your
You were
4 inches
not at
taller
my
than
level.
me.
मैं थोड़ा ऊपर था. I'm looking like this and all. I'm doing this. But guys, welcome back to a final segment of the evening where we're going to be talking about the next upcoming fights. This whole next 2 weeks. Do you know something? There was a statistic somebody had put up for the
Uh-huh.
next 10 weekends. There are straight cards.
Holy
10
shit!
weekends.
Which means 10 happy weekends,
10
ten
happy
happy
weekends. And
Sundays.
2 pay-per-views in the month of July as well.
Dude, that is so crazy. That is
That
so
is
crazy. There's one happening in the
mad.
first week, and I think July 30th or something of a sort. There's another one.
29th. 29th.
It's so crazy. I'm so happy, and the fact that we go live every Thursday from this beautiful studio. I'm to enjoying the AC out here.
यार ऐसा बोल मत ना यार. I'm now I had to run around. I had a lot of things. I
देखो
couldn't make
देखो
it.
मेरा लाइट देखो देखो प्रोडक्शन वैल्यू देखो देखो इसको
Yes,
बजट
yes.
बोलते हैं दोस्त इसको बजट बोलते हैं
अरे पीछे
हाँ,
से the toys भी है. You can play with the toys also, no?
आप कौन से गुफा में बैठे हो आप मुझे वो बताइए no but speaking of gufa
अभी क्या?
mystic chips is at home because unfortunately there's a situation at his place and I think your
Yeah.
dad has got mild covid so from the
Yeah.
entire fraternity Mr. Chipalkati recover well come back soon
Thank you
because
so much.
you know Arjun doesn't enjoy when you don't give him galis
Correct.
that galis ये बेटा जिंदगी में क्या कर रहे हो तुम
ये बेटा तुम
so
क्या करते हो? क्या है ये podcast? क्या करते हो तुम हर Thursday जाके? I'm like, Daddy, सुनो. I hope he's tuned in, huh? Pops, I hope you're watching.
absolutely yes so best wishes he is going to be back soon in about 4 5
Yeah,
days
he's absolutely fine.
and
He's already on the path to recovery. He's going to be fine in a couple of days.
actually like when you said path I thought you were going to be saying party he's on his way to a party and I was like dude
Party.
he has to be a father yeah?
But correct. Are his friends are sending him pictures of single malt, saying that we're out. Ha. So I mean,
we are
there's this-
single
we are single with the single malt.
oh god but those who
But-
haven't taken the vaccination or the booster please go out there get your Coven app and the boosters are available for every single buddy doesn't matter about age
Absolutely.
group or sex male female whatever it is third gender you can go and get your booster be safe so that the economy will open the offices will open and we all are having a great time.
Yes, sir. But speaking of a great time, we've got a great fight card coming up this weekend, which is headlined by a heavyweight main event. I think it's Alexander Volkov is fighting again, taking
Versus
on.
Rosenstrike.
Oh, it's Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
Absolutely. The gentleman who cut Alistair Overeem's lip in two.
Don't talk. No, that fight does not count.
That fight is not
Anybody,
counted.
any fight against Overeem's, Anderson Silva, where they're losing is not counted only.
It's not counted. It's not counted. क्योंकि
नहीं,
stumps
not
मेरे हैं तो cricket pitch मेरा ही है. अगर मैं out होएगा तो फिर
Correct.
मैं stumps लेके जाएगा वैसा.
मैं बैट लेके जाएगा. मैं बैट लेके जाएगा तो बॉल लेके जाएगा घर पे. मेरा बॉल मैं लेके आया
Well,
बस.
Absolutely. But the co-main event is also very interesting with Dan Ige and Movsar Evlov that is going to be on the card. So it's very, very interesting. I mean, sometimes there are fighters that we don't know, but the fights turn out to be bangers. And I think the main event and the co-main event are going to be absolute bangers in this case.
Absolutely. Sometimes you see a lot of, that's how contenders rise, no? We didn't know
Yeah.
who a Dan Ige was. We didn't know who
Absolutely.
XYZ was. We didn't
Yeah.
know who Giga Chikadze was. All these guys
Yes.
are new guys. They've come up by the same method that the UFC promotes these cards. They're not
Yes.
in the main event yet, but they're on their way. You put on a good performance and you get shifted to a main card, to pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
And-
And this is a co-main event. But what's the best part about being in the Apex is the smaller 24-foot octagon and the heavyweights in there. It's not going to go 5 rounds.
There's nowhere to run.
There's no way to run. And
There's
in fact,
no
the third man in the octagon is actually like crowd. The referee should actually be outside because it's too much crowd is
Seriously,
there.
there's no room.
You know?
And they put and against these big boys, so they definitely will use somebody like Dan Mergliotta.
Yeah,
Because he's
exactly,
huge,
like the Dan Mergliata. So there's like some 800 pounds that is there in the octagon at that point of time.
Easily. Seriously,
You
I mean, you're going to see a great war. So tell me, Mr. Kamra, what are your picks?
Oh man, it's going to be very difficult to pick a heavyweight because, as we all know, one shot can change it all. But I'm going to be going
Absolutely.
for this one with Biggie Boy. Rosenstrike is my pick. I think he's going to beat Volkov because he has the speed, he has the power, he has the resilience. I think he can take a couple of punches from Volkov and still move forward, but it's not going to work vice versa.
Let's see. I'm actually betting Volkov has more of a, he's got that French kickboxing style. He stands up straight, moves his
Yes,
head straight backwards as opposed to slipping shots.
yes,
Um,
yes,
and Rosenstruck is not a, he's not a traditional striker. He's got a lot more tools. He's a very good grappler, so he knows how
yes,
to shift levels and change it up. And
yes.
we've seen Volkov struggle with something like that in the past. So I'm expecting a decision victory from Rosenstruck.
You think it's going to go 5 rounds?
Yeah, yeah, it could.
Oh wow, that's a good call. That's a very interesting call. In fact, that's a very sensible thing. I'm going to go traditional with a just bleed attitude.
Oh my god.
I think Rosenstrike is going to finish him off, but we would like to hear from you. Who do you
Absolutely.
think is going to take the main event of the evening between Alexander Volkov and Biggie Boy Rosenstrike? You can hashtag us, tag us, and we would love to converse with you. We would love to mention you on the show. We are giving away extremely good, funky Fight Mania merchandise, and there's going to be so much more fun happening. But before we wrap up, Mystic Chips, it's a very important weekend because when we are back next week on the show, our boys will already be there on the road to UFC.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man! I mean, congratulations to Pawan Man Singh and Anshul Jubilee,
Yes,
who've gotten an opportunity of a lifetime, I would say, to be a part of one of the biggest, most stable organizations in this field. So good luck, boys. We're all watching, and India Kishan, make us proud, man. Not
absolutely.
no extra pressure, huh? Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, like, go out there, enjoy, but what the fighters need from all the listeners right now is good wishes, a lot of hashtags. Let's go,
Yes,
hashtag Team Jubilee, Team Man, and let's show
Team
our support to
India.
Team India, and let's support them because it's a huge stage. And just imagine if these guys knock their opponents out.
Oh
It's
man, or
going
submit them.
it's going to be fireworks. And also, Sony are extremely cooperative. They are airing all the road to UFC fights. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes,
June 9th and June 10th, stay tuned. It's going to be on Sony 10.2 and Sony 10.3. If I'm not
3.
mistaken, 2:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. is
Yeah,
going
it's
to
gonna be
be
2:30 to 8.
the road to UFC fights. Catch our fighters there. The schedule will be out soon. Anshul Jubli and Pawan Man Singh are there to make history.
Absolutely. So, guys, don't forget to support. Like Somesh said, if you've got something critical to say, please, I suggest keep it to yourself because being an athlete is hard enough, and these guys have got a chance of a lifetime. So, if you don't
Yes.
have anything supportive to say, please don't say anything. And I mean that with the utmost respect. Um, that being said, guys, it's been a great show. So tune in every weekend, every Thursday, not weekend. I'm so used to saying it for the Sony show also, but tune in for that as well.
You're just
Tune
a
in.
weekend guy, dude.
क्या करेगा? We are near the weekend also, no? Tune in. So, guys, tune in every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. to the Fight Mania. We're a newly revamped show. It's all about MMA. It's all about fighting with two hosts in the business. Myself, Mystic Chips, Arjun Chibalkati, and Somesh, the superhuman Kamra. Signing off. We will see you next week, same time, same place, exclusively on ibmpodcast.com.